Okay. So first we just have our provider block. This is nothing new, right?
Right.
Just using AWS and what region. We're opening up Terraform. And then this is still kind of part of like the provider. So this is just saying like, hey, we're using AWS and this is the version of AWS that we're using. So every single Terraform file that's like, say like a main.tf, that's essentially like what this is. We're not using variables, nothing like that. Is going to have this. Then we're calling out a resource, right? So this is what we're going to be creating, just an instance. That's all. We gave it this name, master node. This is the AMI. Everyone understands what an AMI is, right? Okay. Instance type, nothing new. Still using a T2 micro. This is the key name. Big takeaway here. Do you guys have the Preston key? Everyone should be shaking their head no.
Well, no, and Preston, this is where I was getting confused. Is yes, I realized we each had our own key, but we were using the same names, you know, for the instances. So even though, so essentially we're setting up everything with the same name, with the exception of the key, right?
If I understand correctly, that like master node is just for like Terraform, right? It's not actually in AWS.
Yeah,
Well,
so
this
is reference within Terraform. The tags and name, I believe this is your actual name for your instance. Does that make sense? So if I change this to say master node 1, the instance, what's going to pop up in AWS, it's going to be called master node 1. But this doesn't necessarily affect this because this is just a tag. Like this is just the name tag. But this is within Terraform. That is correct, Tristan. Does that answer your question, Cassandra?
Yeah, it does.
I like to keep everything uniform myself. That way I don't get confused. So since this is master node 1, I would just call this master node 1. And then throughout the rest, I would just be referencing this.
Okay. And I do see that, you know, the master and the 2 nodes that you have presently set up under the EC2s or for the EC2s.
Yeah.
I think the part that they might have been referencing is the security group we have to change, right? Because when somebody runs their Terraform, they attach their security group to the VPC. So
both the key and the security group.
The names just have to be unique for, because you did it in the demo earlier when you were going through the lesson. You changed like node security group to like node security group 1.
Yeah, that's because so that's because I created this yesterday. And then I'm trying to remember when I first ran this, did I run into that problem on the first go around? Or was that the second time?
I'm not sure. I ended up changing it in mine and didn't run into it, but it took me a little bit to get through it. I realized that it's the name that you're trying to match from the resource for the security group. I thought it was the
if this is that might run, you might run into issues with that. You are correct. As far as that, if you guys want to, guys, we're creating this security group. Okay, you can change the name if you want to create this security group. Just make sure it is referenced, and when you're referencing in these nodes, which security group they're going to be using. Okay. You could also use another security group that's already there, right? You don't have to use this one. If you want, you could delete this and just go to your AWS account and see what security groups you guys have already. Does that make sense? to keep things simple, I would probably just change the security group name if it doesn't work on the first go around. I think it's because we're all kind of shared account, like one giant AWS account. So that name of that security group does already exist. Does that make sense?
All right, can Terraform create a security group?
Yeah, that's what this is doing, actually. So resource name is AWS security group. So we're creating this resource.
Okay.
So if you, I mean, you guys have created security groups, right, in AWS previously. Guys, it's
Yeah.
the same thing. This is just a different format. This is just it in Terraform.
Okay. So, and you know, this is a stupid question, but Terraform could use a pre-existing security group, right? Or any
Yes.
pre-existing
Yes.
resource. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, you are correct. So say you guys spun up like another VPC, it could go into that VPC if you guys chose it to. Any more questions? Is anyone confused on this portion of the security groups? So if you guys want to use this code, I would just come in, change this name here and here. See how this is highlighting too? That's a good help here. It's highlighting all of these. So then you're gonna have to change it in which security group in every node that you're creating. So if I change it here, 3, I change it to 3. I don't have to change anything because this is the name, but this isn't the Terraform name that it's calling it out as. This isn't the Terraform ID that's referenced in these. Does that make sense?
So if it was a pre-existing one, would it just be like equals, and then instead of like brackets and stuff, it would just be like node security group 3 or whatever it was already?
Right here.
Yeah. Like if it was a
Yeah.
pre-existing security group.
Yes. So I think, yeah, I think you would just give that, you just give the ID right here rather than all of this. Does that make sense? You would
Yeah.
just give that security group name here. That might take some playing around with though, because you have to see which one AWS specifically wants and what Terraform specifically wants. Let's see. I mean, we can try it real quick. Let's see. I'll have to pull up my AWS real quick. Let me do that. EC2. Security groups. Okay. So this is where you would plug that in at. Is right here. So Tom has a security group that's HTTP and SSH. This is what you would plug in to Terraform. Is this security group ID? Does that, see how that looks familiar to how this is spelled out? Where it's AWS security group dot node sg1 dot ID. We're putting that in because this is what we created. We don't have that ID yet. because it's not created yet, right? We're creating it when Terraform runs this piece of the code. So say we delete this. Then we would just have, we just use Tom's security group here. Wait, I think it would be this whole thing. Try it like that, or maybe possibly do a .id. That's what I would try first. Where'd it go? There it is. But I would just try it blank first. Like that, just as is. That's probably what I would do. So I think that's just going to be that. SG dash, yep. That is the ID. We're not calling it out specifically, so we could probably just do that. And all of these. Here, we can try it live, actually. There's no reason why we can't. Maybe not. VPC security group IDs. Maybe I'd have to use something that's in my VPC. Wait, a reference to a resource must be followed by at least one attribute. So maybe let's do a .id and try that out. Oh, wait, what did I do?
If you got rid of the .id and then got rid of the brackets, like is the brackets kind of like
Yeah,
how
maybe.
it's an F string, it jumps out to accept variables or something?
That might be it. Maybe do it in quotes. I think that would probably be more correct.
ChatGPT said the square brackets with quotes, but I don't know if that'll.
Brackets with quotes.
Yeah, square brackets with quotes.
Okay, let's try that. Did they want an ID in ChatGPT?
It didn't do .id. It just had the same thing you had, but with quotes.
Okay. I should have done this a more efficient way. That's okay. Let's try that out. Sorry, guys. I wish I was a wizard like Reno in Terraform. I haven't touched Terraform since my class. Okay. There we go. Yep, that's the correct format. I'm not going to create it because that's going to take forever. But we have a good plan. Would you guys like to see that created? Or did everyone track what I just did there? Well, what we did. Besides Phil and Tristan, I think you guys were the ones talking, correct?
That definitely helped me personally. I was trying to catch up as well, but this helped out a lot. It was cool to see.
All right. Any more questions? No dumb questions like at all. There's no. I mean that like no question is dumb. Not like don't ask stupid questions if you feel like it's dumb.
Sure.
No, seriously, guys. If like any questions at all, I'm not kidding. I will even Sorry, I haven't used this recording thing before on here. Okay. Sorry, I'm new to using Zoom recording. I usually use my Fathom. Okay. So see how in here it's in this playbook or in this one, since this is one that you guys probably deployed in Playbook 3.
Oh, you're not sharing right now.
Oh, thank you. We're just getting too excited. So how it's saying posts. So in our, that's in the web servers group that was in our inventory file. Remember how I had one that was web servers and the one that was Ubuntu servers? So this is specifically calling for in the web servers group, it's doing all of this. Then if in the server, it's pushing to the, all right, let me talk about nodes. I think that'll help the vocabulary. So the node that was in the Ubuntu servers group is going to get pushed all of this. Is everyone tracking that? Let's see here. If I go to the day before lesson, I think this. This is perfect. This explains it very well. Okay, so we have this system called Ansible, right? Ansible is now installed on our main master node or our hosts, okay? And we build out our playbook that is on our master node, okay? So we run that playbook, which specifically calls out what's going to be pushed via Ansible and connecting to via SSH to our target nodes. I wish this was kind of like, all right, we have a, see if I can draw. So imagine there's a box here. That was our master node. Ansible is installed on our master node. And we have playbooks that we wrote out on the master node. We run the playbook, connects SSH to the target nodes and pushes whatever we had in that playbook. Does that kind of make sense? Maybe so. So we have, let's go with this, draw.item. Sure.
Were you kicking playbooks off from your local terminal, or were you SSH'd into the master?
I was SSH into the master. That's the only way that you're connected to those. I'm sure your master node could be, possibly could be your local machine that you're running on. But in that case, it was just, we had one created for us. So here's our master node. Okay. How do I move this? Okay. Text box. Okay. So here's our master node. Okay, this is just an EC2 instance. Has Ansible installed. We wrote out playbooks that are just in YAML files, right? Those are on the master node. And we have our PEM file / SSH key. Okay. Then we have target node 1. and target node 2. Right? So we want to be able to connect to these two, right? See if I can do that. And we say we want, these are blank right now, right? Say we want Apache installed. So we write a playbook, write Apache playbook. Or write, how about this? Write a playbook that will push Apache to be installed. Does that make sense? So then we push the playbook just like here. We push PB1, playbook 1. This is the command. If that was playbook1.yaml, we type this command on our master node. And as long as the inventory file is configured right for our 2 target nodes, it would push Apache to be installed, which is actually this exact playbook right here, which we can go through real quick. So like this command, right? Vim pb3.yaml. We're just creating a file that's called pb3.yaml. We're calling it pb3. It's just short for playbook 3. If you want to type playbook3.yaml or .yml, you can. The name is just Apache installation for servers. This could be take my dog on a walk for all we care, really. Just standard naming conventions that we want to know what it's doing. The host is going to be determined by our inventory file, right? Because that's how it's going to determine which servers it's going to. Do you guys remember the inventory file? Do you want to see that again? Would that help? Okay. Let's see, what did I call it? Ansible, sure. CD and that one doesn't have it. Okay, where did it go? If that's here. Sorry guys, it's a mess in here. Okay, perfect. Inventory.ini. We'll cat that out. So we have our web servers. This is a great example. So we have our web servers group. This one's called node 2. Ansible host. This was my IP for it when I was using it. And then Ansible users just equals EC2 user. Okay. And then this one, this is a group. This is node 1. And we want this to be our DB server. So that's why it's separated. So when I'm sure if I open up playbook 1, well, that's just testing it. Playbook Ansible, that's involved. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to figure out. So this is literally installing the Apache server, web server, right there. And let's see, hosts, all. So this is specifically calling all hosts instead of doing web server and DB server. But we could change this to DB server and it would only go to the DB server or whatever nodes are in that group. Let's focus on the inventory file though. I'm not sure why I have a million in here, to be honest with you. Oh, I call it ants class. Why is that not in there? Huh. Oh, I don't have it because it was on our master node. I'm sorry, guys. I'm an idiot. Yeah, okay. I'll show you guys a good inventory file. I'm sorry, I didn't piece that together. I've been up since 2 in the morning. Okay. So getting your setup, just follow this. Okay. So we create an inventory file, right? And this is what's in that file. I know these copies are weird, so don't use these, just copy and paste. So that's the command to open up an inventory file, or just we're creating a file called inventory. And this is what's in there. Web servers group, node 1, Ansible host. Just take this all out and put in your IP, your public IP. And then it's just Ansible user equals EC2 user. Okay. And then this is for your PEM key, so that Ansible, when it's pushing a playbook, it knows where to access your PEM file for SSH. Does that make sense? That's what this vars is for. Vars are variable. But then we can separate these out, right? Say we wanted a DB servers group and we have node 2 in there and it's using a different PEM file, then we just create a DB servers vars and use that different PEM file as long as we give it the path. See how this is just a path and then the name of that file? And then this is just a test. Test it. You're just pinging those nodes and it's pinging using that inventory file. Does that make sense? Now, I'm not sure if this has to be called inventory. I think that's just standard naming conventions. If you guys want to try an experiment, once you got it figured out, name this Roger instead of inventory and see if it will use that. All right. I think, did you guys go through this not yesterday, but Tuesday? All of this. Big thing I would say is this. Installing Ansible on your master node. I know Reno did, but did you guys do that yourselves?
I was going through it and then I got confused down towards the bottom when it was talking about like For instance, like host was mail.example.com or something. Would that be if we already have domain names, or is that like you're just giving it like a variable name kind of?
Let me read this real quick. The headings in brackets are group names. All right,
Just
headings
and
in brackets. Okay, go ahead, Cassandra.
I was just going to comment that also confused me a little bit.
I've never used Ansible to do this, where it's like a domain name. I would just keep it simple. That's the same. That name doesn't matter. Just put it in this format. That's right here. When you look at it, it's the same thing, right? It still has a group. This is web servers group, DB servers group. This is just a different name for it.
Yeah, no, I understood the grouping. It's just to suddenly have the different domain. Just I was trying to probably overthink it.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I wouldn't. Don't worry about this. We can worry about this later if it comes to that. I don't think we ever will. I'm sorry, I don't have that answer. You could do it like this. Well, this is just like literally an example thing. But after that, it's literally the same. Like Ansible all TACM ping. Ansible web servers group, right? That's what it's right there in the inventory file. Ping. Ansible node 1 TACM ping. Like you could do all of those different things. Okay. Yeah, this is terribly written, guys. I'm sorry.
This is an opportunity, though, to maybe have a discussion on how to, not here among the class, but you could take that back to the instructors and maybe have a conversation on how to improve it for the next DevOps class.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And you'll have the recordings too, so you could use that.
Yeah.
Half serious, half catty. You know.
No, this is very good. It's new curriculum, so
Oh, I'm not complaining at all. I know that. So completely understand.